I just got done watching Wednesday season 2, episodes 1 through 4. I really liked the first season, especially where kind of Tim Burton and Jenna Ortega were able to take this show. I really like all the casting choices they've made. Honestly, they were fit perfectly in the first season. They fit perfectly for the second season so far. I think it's amazing. But I'm a huge fan of the Addams Family. Always been a fan of Tim Burton's aesthetic in movies. I immediately knew I was going to like this show, and I was right. Season 1 I loved, and then now that we're on season 2, honestly, I love this just as much, especially because we still got some of that relationship drama going on. We didn't lose any of that, which I'm a sucker for relationship drama because I'm single and I have none, so I need something to do with my time. So I watch TV shows and movies, this one included. So season 2, episode 1 is Here We Woe Again. It shows us what Wednesday's been doing over the summer. She's been trying to practice her abilities for kind of using her powers that she found out she has in season 1. So she tracks down a serial killer and she goes to his house to try to confront him. But as soon as he kind of grabs her arm, she gets this vision and you immediately see her eyes start like leaking fluid. And then she pretty much just passes out right then and there. So they go into the basement. He's kind of kidnapped her and she's kind of awaiting his return. She's pretty much like, yeah, I'm going to be fine. Like she tells you like, hey, I'm about to make sure that he's caught. Doesn't kill him. But Thing goes with her to kind of help her out. So Thing is able to scare the serial killer by jumping on him and beating the crap out of him. He launches out of the face of a doll, which is hilarious and also kind of terrifying because the doll moves its head and just looks at him. But they get the serial killer captured, and the best part is that it's Haley Joel Osment, and they are really doubling down on using him on Netflix because I believe he was also just in Happy Gilmore 2. So I don't know if Haley Joel Osment has a Netflix contract that needs to be fulfilled, but this is kind of the second big thing that Haley Joel Osment's been in for Netflix. So kind of cool that we keep seeing him returning. Very good actor. So kind of happy to see that he's getting more roles, especially right now. Always kind of been underrated. But the best part is that now we see him as the serial killer. Ultimately, he's defeated. And then we go back to where the Addams Family is heading back to Nevermore. But this year, instead of dropping off only Wednesday, they're dropping off Wednesday and Pugsley. I've always loved Pugsley Addams, mostly because I looked like him while I was a kid, because I was pretty much twins with the dude who played Pugsley in the 90s movies for the Addams Family. So here I am, long lost brother. But for that, I've always just kind of loved him. He was like, oh, funny kid. And Wednesday was always like, hey, you want to play a game? I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, yeah, I would be dumb enough to fall for that, so I can relate to Pugsley. But it's a very fun kind of beginning of the episode. We see Pugsley using a similar power to what Uncle Fester has, where they kind of control electricity. At least they can like shoot lightning out of their hands. So it's pretty cool. And Wednesday is pretty much like, hey, if you don't shoot that stop sign right in the middle of the O, I'm going to eject you from the car. He ends up doing it, so Wednesday's kind of upset because she doesn't get to eject him from the car. But they arrive at Nevermore, and we see that Wednesday Addams is sort of a celebrity there, and she is not a fan of being a celebrity. She's quite upset by the fact that people really want more of her attention and that people want her to be more active around the school now, because she's not really interested in making a lot of friends. She's not interested in being like this influencer or public official kind of. So she kind of wants to go back into her solitary that she usually has. We go through the episode and we see that Wednesday has a stalker. So that's one of the new mysteries in the series, that they're kind of trying to figure out who is stalking Wednesday Addams, which we find that out way sooner than I thought we would. But we go through and we kind of see the return of Enid. We see the return of Ajax. We see the return of a lot of characters in this show, except for Xavier, which was a pretty big departure. There was some controversy around the actor, so the actor will not be back. We do hear from Xavier in this show. He writes a letter to Wednesday and gives her a gift. So we do know that the character is still out there. They just will not show up, at least in this season, because of some of that controversy that was happening with the actor who previously portrayed them. So that's really all I'm going to talk about it. But kind of moving on, they have a tradition that kind of stopped for Nevermore, where they used to have a giant fire for all the outcasts to go to. Somebody tries to burn Wednesday's novel that she's been writing, so she goes to this fire. She stops it, and the new headmaster, played by Steve Buscemi, is unveiling a new portrait to commemorate Wednesday Addams and her friends saving the school. So he unveils this portrait, and Wednesday has a giant smile on her face in the portrait. And listen, I don't work on this show. I don't write for Wednesday Addams. But as soon as I saw that smile, I don't know if I created a second personality for a second, but I looked over to my right and I went, she's not going to like that. And I live alone, so no one was there. But it was really fun to watch her freak out. And she sets this picture on fire. She gives a speech pretty much like, you should not be trying to get my attention. And like, I am not someone to be oohed and ahhed over. I hate this. You all are fools. And it's a very funny speech where she kind of just roasts all of them. Enid is quite upset because Enid wants to be popular. She now, after she kind of wolfed out, she's become popular and there's a little bit of relationship strain. So she kind of she's changed a little bit. But, teenagers, that happens. We've all been there. And from that point on, we kind of see a little bit more relationship drama with her because she wants to move on because her relationship was built off of, I'm the shy one who hadn't really blossomed yet. But now she had this wolf out moment. She's been able to blossom. She's joined up with a pack. So really, she has moved on in a sense. And her personality has sprouted kind of into something else than what she was in season 1. So Pugsley is also still trying to find a way to be able to fit in at the school. Doesn't really have a lot of friends yet. He's brand new. So we kind of see him going through that route until his RA, who is also Enid's boyfriend, tells a pretty much like a bedtime night scare story about a boy who made himself a wooden heart so that he could be able to kind of live on with this wooden heart that was kind of powered up with like electronics. And then he ended up being buried under a tree, but if you lean into like the skull tree, you can still hear his heart ticking. So Pugsley actually goes to this tree and shocks it. And then what we see is this person, now a zombie, rises out of the ground and you can hear the heart ticking. And Pugsley at first looks horrified. And then, in true Addams Family fashion, switches back to immediately being like, this is awesome. Like, wow. And I like getting to see that, yes, outcasts might be a little different overall, and they're all into their own weird things. They all have their own special powers, but it's hilarious to see that the Addams Family is still some of the weirdest of the bunch, especially Uncle Fester, who we do see again, which I'm very happy to see Fred Armisen back as Uncle Fester because he's hilarious in this. But kind of move on to episode 2 after that, The Devil You Woe. This is where Pugsley shows, hey, I have this zombie, but we're keeping him hidden in this hut, which is hilarious because this zombie is trying to eat people all the time, and Pugsley just kind of shocks him with the powers. So, and then the zombie will be like, oh, like that hurt, and he won't do anything for a couple minutes. He'll just kind of back away. But it's funny because he does seem to have like a kinship with Pugsley. Like, he's not really tried to eat Pugsley. He mostly just stands next to him. Maybe he's grateful that Pugsley kind of brought him back to life. I'm not really sure. They don't iron it out 100%. They talk on it a little bit, and Pugsley makes comments. But it's pretty interesting how he never really tries to bite Pugsley. So I think that's interesting, and we'll probably explore that a little bit later. But we also see in this episode a return of one of my favorite characters from the first season. It's because they gave him this monologue and he whispered it to Wednesday so nobody would believe her. So we have the return of Hunter, who's playing Tyler. So that's kind of the monster from season 1 who's being controlled by Christina Ricci's character, the Hyde. And oh my gosh, he is even more evil in this season. We, heads up, maybe 5 to 10 minutes of screen time in this whole first half of the second season so far. And I was like, holy crap, like this guy's just proceeded to get even more evil. Like, granted, maybe being in solitary confinement and one of the most reserved cells in a mental ward, yeah, that'll probably do it. Can't really say that you would get any more sane while being in there. Uh, but oh my gosh, he threatens to kill Enid. He tells Wednesday that he can't wait to kill her, and it's whew, he's just evil as shit. And it's beautiful. It's amazing. I love his acting in this scene. And you know what? I was watching that scene, I'm like, you know what? I will let this man kill me any and every day of the week. But amazing return for this character. Very happy. This is where we also find out who her stalker is, and it's one of the kind of timid, more shy fans that she had in the courtyard in episode 1. And she's not really happy, nor is Enid, because she kind of put Enid's life on the line for Wednesday to be able to solve the mystery, because she knows that Wednesday likes solving mysteries, as we see from season 1, where she solved a whole mystery, outed someone as a criminal, got another criminal caught as well, and also defeated this evil spirit from like generations ago. So yeah, she likes solving mysteries. She's a pretty much a one-person Scooby-Doo squad going around, the Mystery Incorporated, if you will. But it was kind of really fun to see her go through that and gain that new ally who's kind of going to help out. But we do find out that the stalker is not the person who's been controlling the crows, which returns from episode 1, where we see the crows stalking over the friend of the ex-sheriff as well as the sheriff himself, and the sheriff is also murdered. There you go. We have 2 mysteries to solve. So, which one of them we just solved. So now we're on to the next mystery. But episode 3 is one of my favorites, called Call of the Woe. So that's the one where Morticia Addams has taken away Goody's book. This is the book that Wednesday has been using to really hone in on her psychic abilities. So she has to do some old-fashioned work. They're going through on a camping trip, and she sees an opportunity to get some detective work done, because she got a hint to go to a certain spot in the woods, and that just happened to be close to the camp they're going to. Pugsley makes a hilariously bad decision to bring the zombie along with him, and we immediately know this isn't going to go well. So there's a troop of like Boy Scouts or Eagle Scouts similar to that. They're being trained by a military type leader who's coming in, and they had both reserved the camps, but the troop reserved the camp from the new owners, and the Nevermore Academy reserved the camp through the previous owner. So they accidentally double booked. Wednesday challenges them to a competition. Whoever wins gets to keep the park for that weekend. They get to stay on that property. So they go through a couple of rounds. Nevermore ends up winning, with Wednesday riding down a freaking zip line, which was actually, I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. But we then see that the troop, especially the troop leader, decides that they need to take the camp back. So he ends up sneaking into one of the tents. Unfortunately, it's the tent with the zombie, and he is killed. The zombie eats his brain, which I was like, well, this is less family friendly, but being an adult, I don't care. I'm into that. So don't watch this, children. But it's a great kind of time watching him, like, that's what you get for making a dumb decision, not standing by your word. You should have just left like you said you were going to. And Wednesday is able to get back in the cabin. She challenges Morticia to a one-on-one so she can have Goody's book back. And she says, Morticia makes a deal. If you win, I'll give you the book back. If I win, I'm going to burn the book. So they put these like glass hearts onto their chest, and they're like, okay, whoever is able to break the other one's heart, that is the person who will win. And ultimately, Morticia wins and breaks Wednesday's kind of glass heart that she had. So Morticia's like, it's settled. You're not getting the book back, and I'm going to burn it. So we also get to see Mama, the grandmother for the Addams family, and it's Morticia's mother. So she comes in kind of in the last episode, and we find out that she is very wealthy. She's the most famous alumni. So they really want her to donate to the Academy, because that'll kind of signal like, okay, Nevermore is popular again. Maybe that'll get some of the other donors to populate and donate more. This is the plan of Steve Buscemi's character, the new headmaster, because he really needs to get more donations as he told the board he would do. So finally, we go into the last episode, which is If These Woes Could Talk. This is the one where Wednesday is investigating and she convinces Uncle Fester to go inside of the facility called Willow Hill. She has some questions. Her investigation is leading her there. So Uncle Fester is able to go into town, cause some shenanigans at the local inn, and then gets arrested and is taken to this mental facility because Fester is not normal. We know this. If anything, he's probably the most abnormal member of the Addams family, which is quite fun. We get to see him say some crazy stuff and make hints towards some funny things that he's done in the past. All of his IDs and passports were quite funny because they were all just plays on the name Fester, and they all included the name Fester. They just had something else on there. My favorite of which being, I believe it was his Mexican ID that says Fester Fiesta. So his first and last name was Fester Fiesta. That was pretty good. I like that one a lot. But he goes in there, falls in love, kinda. Doesn't really fall in love. He kind of uses a lady to get to where he wants, but it's kind of hilarious because they allude that he sleeps with her because he goes, "Oh, are you Lois?" And she goes, "No, I'm Louise." And he goes, "Oh." And then just turns the light off in the closet of the kitchen. You see them start making out. I was like, all right, here we go. But from there, that's where Thing is also kind of helping out, traveling around, making sure that everything's going according to plan. Wednesday also talks Enid and her stalker into going to Willow Hill to help her out as well, because they need to find out what's going on, who's controlling the crows, as well as what this facility is kind of, how it plays into the investigation that she's holding. This is also the facility that Tyler is in, and it's the same facility where they just transferred Christina Ricci's character, because they believe she is still controlling Tyler, and they want him to be like, they want to unlock him, be able to free him from her. But that is not quite how things go. The plan does not 100% go as it should have. Wednesday figures out who the real stalker has been and who's controlling the birds. It's the daughter of the person who founded the facility, because he was working with Outcast. He quite liked Outcast, and they wanted to use their powers. So his daughter volunteered for the program. He gave her powers, and now she can control the crows and like birds. So she is about to have like a showdown with Wednesday and Fester. Fester shoots out a lot of energy, or at least electric power, and kind of knocks them all back. This knocks out the power to the whole facility. So it ends up freeing Tyler and everybody that was on the lower level basement where Wednesday and Fester were kind of trapped at that moment. So everything's going crazy. The facility is wide open. Everyone's getting loose. Fester is quite enjoying it. He's like, hey, this isn't my first facility breakout, but you gotta love them. They're a lot of fun, apparently. So you know what? I can see that. Christina Ricci's character goes to free Tyler, and he murders her. I'll just say it. Come right out and say it. He stabs through her back and leaves her to die. And ooh, did it feel good. It was right after a moment where they almost, Netflix pulled a scene from one of their other shows with the Umbrella Academy, where there's that clip of them passing by each other in the car, and they give that passing glance to each other. Wednesday and Christina Ricci's characters have that moment where they're both running opposite directions, and slow motion kind of hits, and they just like look at each other, and then they just keep going to where they were kind of off to. It's an awesome shot. I loved it. I was like, oh, it's always funny seeing Wednesday Addams in a shot with Christina Ricci, because for so long, that's who Wednesday Adam was for a lot of people. So it's very fun to be able to see her in the show as part of the cast. It's very funny. Ultimately, Wednesday is able to help free a lot of people who were being tortured. As outcasts, they were being tested on and pretty much tortured in the basement of this facility. So she was able to free all of them, and they escaped. One of them, I have a feeling that it's Ophelia, because Fester said she had escaped, but he didn't say he found her, and he didn't say that he knew she escaped. He just said that she wasn't there. So I think that Ophelia has actually secretly been in this facility the whole time. So I think that the person who Wednesday helps out of the last cell is Ophelia Addams, the sister of Morticia. So that's my that's where I'm getting with a lot of the clues that have been left and the way that they were kind of talking at the end. But the last thing that we see is Tyler catches up with Wednesday Addams. They stare each other down face to face, and he throws Wednesday Addams out of the second story window. She goes pretty far, lands right in front of the fountain that was out front of the facility, hits the ground hard, and is bloodied up. It does not look good for Wednesday Addams. Tyler is able to escape the police, and the police can't really get to him before he's able to take a couple of them out and then run away. And so, really, we end the last episode of season 2, episode 4, with Wednesday in a very bad spot, not looking very good at all, bloodied all over, looks terrible. And that's pretty much where it stops. So Wednesday's in a terrible predicament. So we'll have to wait until they release the second half of the season to kind of see where that goes. But I'm still loving this show. All of the first 4 episodes of season 2 have been awesome, in my opinion. I liked every single one of them. I thought they were all really good. Thank God that these episodes are like an hour long, because every time I start one, I just can't get enough of it. I need the show to keep going. So I'm so happy that they kind of kept this show going and that we're able to get season 2 right now, because I freaking adore this show. Jenna Ortega as Wednesday Addams is an absolute delight. Every person that they've casted in the Addams family is perfect to me. The actor who's playing Pugsley is amazing. Jenna Ortega's Wednesday is amazing. Luis Guzman as Gomez Addams is hilarious and amazing. I also love Catherine Zeta-Jones playing Morticia Addams. She is phenomenal. And they even have Lurch show up in this show. Even the person playing Grandmama and Grandmama Addams. Awesome. She's like devilishly charming as well. And it's perfect. I just love this Addams family. I'm so excited to see more of them. But really, if you've watched it, how do you feel about season 2 of the Wednesday show so far? Do you like it more than season 1, less than season 1? Are you excited for it to continue, or do you think that the show has run its course? Really, feel free to let me know. I absolutely love it. But other than that, go out there and be kind to someone today.